If my family was moving to the Austin area in 2026 with the budget of, let's say, 500 to 800,000, these are the exact places that I would start looking. Now, I'm not talking about some random Google list. I'm talking about real communities that I'd actually feel confident putting my own family in. I've shown thousands of houses, so I have a pretty good idea about the best places. Most people focus on school ratings, commute times, flashy model homes. Then you actually realize later the area doesn't actually fit your lifestyle. So that's what this video is all about. I'm going to be breaking down the communities that I'd personally choose if I were relocating. So today we're going to talk about 5 main areas on my list: Round Rock, Dripping Springs, Cedar Park, Kyle, and Bastrop. These places are all over the map. And then I'm going to give you a little bonus sleeper pick at the end. So keep watching until the end, so stay tuned. So first, I'll start with my second best overall choice. So you get kind of like a baseline for what I think a pretty good decision looks like. Then, of course, I'm going to show you my number one spot that I'd personally pick for my family if I were moving to Austin area tomorrow. And after that, I'll give you my third best choice, which trades a little convenience for a lot of space and peace. Then we'll talk about 2 more really strong options that might end up being your number one, depending on a bunch of different things. We're all kind of in unique situations here. So you might be thinking about the commute. You might have kids, so school districts are really important to you. Other people care about the lifestyle. And then last, I'm going to walk you through that sleeper town almost nobody is talking about, but probably should be. So if we haven't met yet, what's up? My name is Nick Garcia. I'm a local real estate agent here in the greater Austin, Westlake, Hill Country area, but I've done business all over Austin, Bastrop, Cedar Park, Kyle, everywhere. And almost all of my business now is people relocating from right here on YouTube. So if that's you, welcome, and let's get into it. I'll start with what I call my second best overall choice, which is Round Rock. Now, why it's high on my list is if you want that we live somewhere super special feeling with tons of convenience, Round Rock is pretty hard to beat. So Round Rock sits just north of Austin, right on I-35. It used to be just a quiet suburb, and now it's turned into a major economic engine in Texas, and that's no joke. And here's why that matters to you. You've got legit amenities like Old Settlers Park, Kalahari Resort, and downtown Round Rock with its restaurants and historic charm. You've also got serious master plan communities like specifically Terra Vista and Bayron's Ranch. And you still have realistic access to major Austin tech corridors and the Domain. Now, on the school side of things, Round Rock is actually pretty stellar. It consistently ranks as one of the best large districts in the state, earning high marks across the board. It's not super hyped and crazy competitive like some little enclave, but definitely a district where students excel. And if I'm a parent moving my kids here, I like that they have some amazing programs, not just sports, but sports and tons of options. And there's room for kids to be kids, and you're not rolling the dice on some unknown school district. So these 2 communities that really jump out to me, the first is Terra Vista. This is an award-winning master plan community. You've got an 18-hole championship golf course, multiple pools, fitness centers, tons of trails and parks in a really great location. And this is not just rows of houses in a single pool. In this price point, you can pick from a larger floor plan, better finishes, or go with a nicer but still be in a very cohesive neighborhood. The second one is Bayron's Ranch. And this is actually one of my favorites. This is this has like a family first hill country vibe. Think great views, big trees, resort style amenities, and an on-site elementary school that honestly makes mornings a breeze. So the 500 to 800K price point gets you quite a bit here. And if you want that, we have space, we have views, and we have world-class amenities combination. Bayron's Ranch is a super strong candidate here. Commute-wise, from Round Rock to downtown Austin, you're probably looking at roughly 30 to 45 minutes, depending on traffic, depending on what part of Round Rock you're in, and maybe up to 65 minutes down that I-35 corridor as things tend to get backed up. Again, under normal conditions, 40 minutes or so. Now, the tech campuses around Palmer Lane and the Domain are even closer for many people, which is why a lot of tech families seriously consider Round Rock, especially on the west side, like Brushy Creek. Weeknights or weekends, you can be catching a Round Rock Express baseball game, walking around downtown, or headed out to the Brushy Creek area. Now, in the big picture, here's how I usually frame Round Rock. If you want suburban convenience, an incredible school district, real master plan communities, and great access to tech jobs, it belongs very high on your list. So you might be asking, if it's that good, why is it just number 2 for me? Well, because there's one place that when I'm thinking long-term schools, long-term demand, and that classic hill country family lifestyle, it just edges it out a little bit. Let's talk about Dripping Springs. Dripping Springs is my personal number 1. If I had to pick one place and one place only to move my family in this price range, Dripping Springs would be at the very top of my list. Dripping Springs sits southwest of Austin, right off of Highway 290. You've got a true small town feel with local shops, breweries, and little wineries. It's so cool. And you've got serious hill country scenery there as well. And you got the school district that families actively chase. Dripping Springs ISD has built a really strong reputation over the years. Literally, I've had parents move there specifically for the schools, not just because it's close enough to Austin. You'll hear Dripping Springs High School come up over and over again when people talk about the top schools in the greater Austin area. Now, if I'm a parent, what I hear is this. My kids will be surrounded by peers who are going somewhere in life. There's a culture of being involved, being active, and showing up. Now let's go ahead and talk about some of the communities. So if you got that $500,000 to $800,000 budget, there are 2 communities that I think need to absolutely be on your radar. The first is Headwaters. This is Dripping Springs' flagship master plan community. Picture a resort dropped into the Texas Hill Country. You've got an incredible amenity center with the split level pool, fitness center, community spaces, miles of trails and parks, and gathering spots literally everywhere. And in that $500,000 to $800,000 price point, you can buy a very, very nice house here. So many relocation families, this is we moved to Texas and now we live in a resort kind of moment. The second is Belterra. Belterra is another award-winning community that blends natural beauty with everyday convenience. It's a massive community with an emphasis on preserving that hill country life. You have resort-style pools, splash pads, parks, and the Belterra Village commercial development right there, not to mention the elementary in the neighborhood. Most homes fit perfectly in that $600,000 to $800,000 budget. Some are larger estates a little bit higher. Even if it's not where you end up, it does set the tone. Dripping Springs isn't just nice houses. It's a fully capable of a true top-tier legacy level communities. But let's be honest about the commute here. Dripping Springs is about 25 miles from Austin. In real life, that's about 35 to 60 minutes. More if traffic on 290 is a little bit rough. But if you're working 5 days a week right in the core of Austin, there's a real factor for a lot of people, right? So if you're one of my clients in this price point, one of the 3 things that has to be true: you either work a hybrid or you're fully remote, you work in Southwest Austin or along Mopac, or you're simply willing to trade a little bit more of the windshield time for the lifestyle and the schools. Now, on the day-to-day stuff, here's what it actually looks like in Dripping Springs. You have kids sports in the evenings, walks or bike rides through the neighborhoods, dinner at a local spot, and then weekends at Hamilton Pool, or day tripping deeper into the hill country like Fredericksburg to visit a winery or a brewery. And then you want those, and when you want those big city amenities, you're pretty straight shot into Austin, which is amazing. It's quicker in the weekends. So, and when I zoom out, I think of both a parent and investor standpoint. Dripping Springs checks most of these boxes. You have the strong schools, big name recognition, even outside of the state of Texas. You have the master plan communities that feel like they really age well, in my opinion, and a town culture that is like cohesive and proud. And that's why for me, Dripping Springs is going to be number 1. But it's not the right fit for everybody, of course. Some people want more convenience to the north. They want, strong schools. They will gladly give up the deep hill country drive just to get that. And for those families, my third best overall choice might make it feel like it's your number 1. Let's talk Cedar Park. Cedar Park, has suburban convenience, great retail, and a little bit of a breathing room here. So it's right up on the 183 corridor, just northwest of Austin. It's where the city blends seamlessly into the suburbs and the hill country starts to show up the more you creep west. So here's a basic feel of the area. You have great shopping, the H-E-B Center for concerts, hockey games, established neighborhoods, and a lot more sky. So you're not as far out as Dripping Springs, but you're also not dealing with the density of Central Austin. And school-wise, you're mostly in Leander ISD. And this is a highly regarded school district. In fact, it often ranks as one of the top districts in the state. But the key here isn't one magical school. It's which specific neighborhood you choose to live in. And a great example is Deerbrook in nearby Leander or established pockets in Cedar Park. These are communities with great trails, pools, and playgrounds. So if your kids can literally walk or bike to school and your everyday life happens mostly right inside that neighborhood. Now, in the $500K price point, Cedar Park can get you a great home with a really nice lot with mature trees. Cedar Park makes a ton of sense if you're, want to be close to Austin, want those great schools. And since they finished that 183 mobility project, it's a heck of a lot quicker to get to Austin. So if you're going all the way downtown every single day, it's doable, usually 30 to 45 minutes, but it's not great to be, it's not going to be your favorite part of the day, right? So in Cedar Park, think about your evenings are going to be at a neighborhood pool, short drives to Lake Travis, quick trips to the Domain or Arboretum, or big box shopping right at 183 area. Cedar Park is third on my list because it doesn't have quite the same deep hill country resort feel as Dripping Springs or the massive scale of Round Rock. But if your heart wants great schools, your head wants manageable commute to the tech hubs, and your budget sits around 500, 800,000, Cedar Park deserves a real look for you. Now, what if you're listening to all of this and thinking, Nick, this is great, but my priority is getting more house for my money. I want good schools, newer homes, more than I want deep hill country acreage. That's where my number 4, Kyle, comes in. So now you're picking Kyle if value in newer communities are the main focus for your move here, because Kyle is on the south side just past Buda along I-35. And if you're working in South Austin or just want your dollar to really stretch, Kyle, it should absolutely be on your radar. Most of Kyle now is newer. It's full of subdivisions and master plan pockets. And it's part of Hayes CISD, which is growing and improving drastically. It's known for being organized and building great new facilities. And in the $500K price point, a neighborhood I really like to bring up is Six Creeks. Six Creeks is a true master plan community. You've got the trails, the pool, the playground, sports courts. It's the whole package. It has a kids outside neighborhoods know each other vibe that a lot of people are craving, and we can't blame them, right? So you get newer, efficient homes, more modern floor plans, and that family-oriented feel. The biggest advantage for me with Kyle is the value. Your 500 to 800K budget stretches a heck of a lot further than it does in Dripping Springs or Cedar Park or other areas of Austin. Commute-wise, of course, this is where you have to plan. You're generally 35 to 50 minutes to downtown Austin in normal traffic. So if your priorities sound like we want a newer, bigger house, great community, all the amenities, and of course, we don't mind driving up I-35, Kyle is a really fantastic option. Now, not everybody wants the typical I-35 suburbs, right? So some of you want more room with less oversight, maybe more of a small town feel. And you're okay with a bit more of a drive to get it and still want that bang for your buck. So let's talk about my sleeper pick on the list, Bastrop. Specifically, I want to talk about the Colony. Now, Bastrop has a small town feel and space. So Bastrop is just southeast of Austin out on Highway 71. And if you picture a historic downtown with everybody knowing everybody at HEB, this is kind of the place for you. You have a little bit more elbow room and a lot slower lifestyle. And really, Bastrop ISD is a solid growing school district. It's not marketed as some like ultra academic powerhouse, but it gives you a smaller school feel where your kids aren't just faces in a crowd or like you have like crazy competitive nature. This price point, Bastrop can be a game changer for most people. 500, 800,000, you won't even need it. Here it gets you a custom, semi-custom home on a much larger lot, multiple acres, or getting into a incredible master plan community like the Colony. The Colony offers resort-style amenities, a pool, trails, and access to the Colorado River. Now, an honest reality check on the commute. The commute's like an issue with all these, right? You can absolutely get into downtown Austin or the airport in 30 to 40 minutes, but in most of the times it could take you up to an hour. But this is better suited for hybrid workers, people working at the Tesla Gigafactory, which is east of town, or people who don't need to be downtown every single morning at 8 a.m. You're trading a little time in your car for lifestyle and the exact home that you want. If you want a small town charm, more land, and you're okay with a bit more of a drive, Bastrop and specifically the Colony will make a ton of sense for you. So there you have it. So bring it all together and how I can help you here. So let's zoom way out for a second. If my family had to move to the Austin area in 2026 and 2027 or beyond with the $500,000, $800,000 budget, here's where I'd personally stack it. This is where those people that kind of like fast forward through the video. Round Rock, awesome. Coming in at number 2, you get the suburban convenience, access to the tech hubs, and serious master plan communities like the ones I mentioned, Terra Vista and Barron's Ranch. There are other areas like Brushy Creek and Avery Ranch that don't sleep on those. Again, Dripping Springs would be my personal number 1. Top tier schools, proven long-term demand. To me, this is a great for investors and families. So Headwaters, Belterra, they're always going to be in style, always good value here. Cedar Park comes in at third best. You got those great schools, solid retail, good access to Austin, and these neighborhoods that give you a great lifestyle without completely giving up your convenience. Then Kyle is where I would look really hard if value and newer master plan communities like Six Creeks were more of my main focus. Lots of really awesome houses in Kyle. And then Bastrop is my sleeper pick. This area is growing like crazy. I'm actually headed out there tomorrow. The quiet under the radar option where 500, 800,000 can literally build the lifestyle with river access, small town charm, and that might not be possible anywhere else around the Austin area. Now, the big mistake I see people make is trying to figure out all of this from 2,000 miles away with nothing but school ratings, Google Maps, listing photos, Redfin, information, listing descriptions. You don't have to do all that alone. If you're moving here and any of this resonated with you, I will love to help you sort through all this noise for your exact situation. In the description, I'll drop a link where you can schedule a quick relocation consult with me, or just shoot me a text or phone call. My number is down below. We'll talk about your job, your commute, your kids' ages, your budget, and we'll build a short list that actually fits what you're looking for, so you don't have to look at thousands of houses. No pressure, no hard sell. Just an honest conversation and a custom game plan tailored specifically for you. So thanks so much for watching. If this video helped you, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe if you want more Austin and Hill Country area breakdowns. And if you have some time, drop a comment below telling me which community surprised you the most on the list, or what maybe community you'd like a more in-depth video on. And of course, when you're ready to make that move, let's chat. I'm here to make sure that you land in the right spot and not just one that looked great in a thumbnail.